I want to talk about this thing called the Mandela effect. This thing has consumed me for the past few days. And how best to put this? I don't even know. And it's not just in my head, it's not, I'm not just confused or whatever. I know that it's not just in my head. I know that it's not just me misremembering things. I know for a fact that things were, once upon a time, different. And I don't have the knowledge or understanding of the universe, or quantum mechanics for that matter, to explain how this is possible. I'm not an expert in quantum mechanics by any means, but I do know that in quantum mechanics and quantum theory, there exists this view of the universe as a multiverse. Not one single universe that we all live in and exist in, but many different universes inside a multiverse, if there is such a thing. A lot of intelligent people, a lot of theoretical physicists around the world really subscribe to this theory. If the multiverse is a thing, and I mean you can look up what the multiverse is, but basically the multiverse theory puts forth the idea that there is no single universe, that there are an infinite number of universes inside a multiverse, and that some of these universes are drastically different from the one that we know, and then some of these universes are almost completely identical to ours, except for the most part, what are small differences here and there. And there's several things in this universe that I'm living in now, apparently, that are different. The scene from Risky Business with Tom Cruise, the scene where he slides into the room and he's in his shirt, his underwear, and sunglasses and all that. Well, if you go back and look at the movie now, he's not wearing sunglasses. So apparently in this universe, he never wore sunglasses. Ready Whip, and this is not a huge one, I guess, but it's just one I happen to be thinking of right now. Ready Whip is not WHIP as I know it anymore. It is WIP. It doesn't have the H in the whip anymore. I always knew it to be the other way around. I knew it to be WHIP. I know for a fact that it was at one time spelled WHIP, not WIP. But now if you Google that and you go back and look at like all the historical examples of how, the brand has presented itself and marketed itself, it's always been WIP. Never once has it been WHIP as I know it to be. And that's not just me thinking, oh, I'm pretty sure it was WHIP. I know for a fact it was WHIP. But anyway, moving along. The Ford logo looks different to me now. If you look at the Ford logo now, if you look on the right side of the F, you'll see a little pigtail that I don't remember ever being part of the Ford logo. But apparently it's always been there. Or not always been there, but it's been there going back decades. And there's other examples of this that you can look up. Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is now spelled CHICK. The chick in the name. Well, I remember it always as being spelled CHIC, missing the K. And I know for a fact that it was once spelled CHIC without the K, because I remember thinking once as a kid how strange it was that they did not include the K in the name to make it, right. Because to me, if you're going to spell chick, you'd spell it with a K. It just seems right. Why would you spell it CHIC? But like I said, at one time I can definitely remember it being spelled that way, because I remember questioning why they would not put the K in the name. It seemed kind of odd to me. But now if you go and look at all the historical examples of the Chick-fil-A brand name, the K has always been in the name. At no point in history has it ever been simply CHIC, as I remember it to be at one time. And there's other examples of this that you can go look at. There's a lot of examples. Some of them people are extremely sure about. Like the risky business scene. But I've seen that scene numerous times, enough to know that he's definitely wearing sunglasses, or was, and now he's not anymore. Like, there is no way that so many people are going to come to an agreement on such a very specific thing in such a, in a specific movie, in a specific scene like that. There's no way. And then you've got people recreating. You've got clips on YouTube of people that have recreated the scene themselves, and they're wearing sunglasses. So, yeah, I don't know.
Listen, I'm not really a big YouTuber. I'm 57 years old, and I'm not really a conspiracy theorist either. But my daughter was talking to me about something called the Mandela effect. Now, I've been doing a little research on it. I really don't know why I'm making this video, because probably nobody's gonna watch it. But I swear to you on my daughter's life that I woke up 3 weeks ago and there was a building on my block. I swear to God as my witness, that was never there. It had to have been built overnight. There's no way that building has been there. I've been living in the neighborhood for 40 years. That building was never there. I look at the old street maps. I got it from the city's department. The building's always been there. And what had me convinced was the lion and the lamb. That's what started me with all of this Mandela effect. This is crazy, guys. I know the whole world is out there, and you guys are all probably watching all of this stuff about Mandela this, Mandela that. Yeah, I don't know what to do, man. I'm really freaked out, because now I'm looking back at some other things and I'm starting to realize that things have changed. And I don't know. I don't know how to explain it to my daughter. She asks me for answers. She's 13 years old. I'm her father, her parent. I'm supposed to know all the answers. I have no answers to this. Guys, if you guys have experienced anything like this, please send me an email. This is crazy. Yeah, a building that's never been there before. And another thing, for any of you guys that have ever lived in New York City, probably in any other city, I don't know how it goes in any other city, but I know in New York City, and I've been noticing this since maybe the year 2000, maybe even before that, there are scaffolding all around buildings. And if you ever notice, they're either green or blue, and they're poles. Now, do you ever notice that you never see anybody put those scaffoldings up, and then they're just there, and as you start walking by, for days, weeks, months, they stay there. There's nothing being built, no building is being fixed, and they're just appear there. And then one day you'll just be walking down the block and you'll say, wow, something's different here. And the whole scaffolding is gone, and you never see anybody take it down. That is weird. And I don't know what that is, if that's Mandela effect. It's just something I wanted to bring up to you guys. It's been irking me in the back of my head for like the last 17 years. Think about it, guys. For you guys from New York City, the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Staten Island, the scaffolding just happens to pop up.
So I want to talk to you guys today about Mandela effect, something strange that I found, the three groups of people. Okay, I want to talk about that and something strange within one of those groups. So we have the first group, we'll call the first group us. All the people that see the Mandela effects, we are basically obsessed with them. We just can't stop talking about them. We're wondering why it's happening. We want to know more. We have this online community. So we're the first group. We have the second group of the people that just never see them. No matter what you show to them, they just don't see it. They just are blind to the Mandela effect for whatever reason. Third group, and this is the group that's got me thinking that something is very off in our reality with the others, these others that are around us. The third group, they're the people that finally, not initially, you finally show them something and they finally agree. They say, wow, they're just like freaked out, just like we were initially, and they're blown away. They see something for the first time, but then they fall right back asleep again. And that's very odd to me because that's not normal human behavior. It's just not normal, okay? Normally, a human wants to defend, they will always defend their beliefs. So, for them, I mean, some people will say, okay, they're shutting down because they can't accept it. It's just information overload. They just can't, their circuitry can't take it. But no, it wouldn't be like that. They'd be in fear then, or they'd be really questioning. They wouldn't just shut down and not care. That goes against normal human behavior. When your beliefs are challenged as a human, you question them for one thing, and you want to know why. You want to know why. You question, and they don't care. They're just indifferent. They just, for me anyways, that's why I want to ask you guys. I have only, and this is the thing that's weird about it, these are people that I had to really work on for a while. I mean, I was showing all these people Mandela effects, and I finally, over like the last 6 months, have broken through to like 6 people. But all 6 of those people initially were just blown away. They saw a Mandela effect finally that I gave them, like, you're absolutely right, holy shit. Oh my God, that's insane. I'm positive in my mind it was a certain way. And they weren't faking it. They were just like, wow, I'm glad you kept pushing. They were actually thankful. They just, and they were freaked out too. They were scared. They were in shock and all this. But then within a day, they didn't care anymore. They just, they said, I don't care, whatever. That's not normal. I'm telling you. That's not normal human behavior. So I don't know if you guys are having that out there. I mean, I was really hammering on people, so I don't know if you guys are really pushing on people. I know the people that are initially coming on board, there's a lot of them lately too, I noticed. They're starting to see Mandela effects. They're just like us. They fall in the same category as us, as they just want to know more. They're sharing information. They're sharing Mandela effects. They want to understand. That's normal human behavior. When something is not logical and it goes against everything you always know in your mind, you want to know why. That's normal. The other people that don't see it at all, you can't measure how they're behaving if it's not normal, because they're just not seeing it all along. So, but then they finally do, that small group that finally, out of all the people that never saw it, they finally see something, but then they go right back to sleep again. So how many of you guys, how many are seeing that out there with your people? Hopefully there's at least a few of you that have broken through to some people that didn't see it initially, and I'm curious, are those people now like us? I'm willing to bet they're not. That the people that, because I got 6 of them, all 6 are like that. All 6 initially didn't see it for a long time. I broke through on one, on like I think 3 of them, and then the other 3 had like 2 of them. Mandela effects that they saw, but they were initially just like I was. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe that. And for them to just a day later not care, that's not right. That's making me question these others in our reality. I really think that these other people in our reality, the group that doesn't see it at all, the group that doesn't see it and then finally sees it and just goes back to sleep, they're actually different versions of the people that we've known all our life. I mean, I don't know if we're going to converge again with those people at some point down the line. It's strange because overall they seem the same. They have the other same memories that we share, and they have the same feelings towards us that they always did. But that one little glitch, that the fact that they don't care, it's not normal human behavior. It's not! So I want to see if you guys are seeing that out there. And it just validates to me that the fact that you know, these others around us, they're not the same people. So we're seeing a lot of things the same, right? And then we're seeing a lot of little small things like little, you know, movie titles and things like that. But I think that all the people around us are not the same. They're not the same people that were with us prior to this shift in our consciousness. Where they are, I don't know, on some other timeline, another dimension. Are we on that timeline too, interacting with it? It's crazy. I mean, to think about all this.
It's just that 2 weeks in a row, these topics are kind of really freaking me out. So I don't do Mandela effect videos that often anymore. Like I've said in the past, there's kind of an oversaturation of them. And also, sometimes it just gets to be a lot. Like if you look at a lot of Mandela effects, it can be very stressful. Like I have high anxiety as it is. I have an anxiety disorder. And sometimes like people are posting ones that like they upset you because either they're serious or you feel like they're erasing your childhood, and it just, I don't know, you know what I mean? It gets under my skin. So basically, there are 3 different parts of our eye. I mean, there's other parts behind the scenes, but the 3 parts that most people know about, we have the pupil in the middle, and then the colored part is the iris, and then the white part is called the sclera. I think that's how you pronounce it. So that's usually how everyone's eyes look. Now we have a black ring. Well, not everyone, but most people have a black ring around our iris. So now around that colored part, we have a black ring. So of course, like, I was like, I don't have a black ring, or do I? So I was like so creeped out. Like I didn't even want to look in the mirror at first, but I did. And of course, I have a freaking black ring around my iris. And I really like do not remember it being there. Let me know in the comments, like, do you have one now? And if you have it, has it always been there? Because I swear I do not remember it being there. And the reason I'm saying this is when I was 14, I had gotten contacts. I was so excited because I did not want to wear my glasses anymore. And I really struggled with them at first. Sometimes it was, like, it would take me like 15 minutes to put them in, which sounds ridiculous because now I don't even need a mirror. I can just pop them in. But I was struggling. They were new to me. So when you're struggling like that and poking at your eye, a lot of times your eye will become irritated and the white part will start to turn a little bit red. And the red lines would kind of go directly into the brown part of my eye. I remember that very distinctly for some reason. So if I had a black ring there, then that would not be able to happen. Why it's not everyone, why it's a lot, but not everyone, I'm not sure. I obviously can't answer that question. So, you know what I mean? We're defying science. If no one's supposed to have a limbo ring and we do, unless I'm Benjamin Button and I'm aging backwards, there's no reason I should have it. And I'm getting freaked out. It feels like Children of the Corn, and oh my god, I just did not like hearing this in the middle of the night. It definitely freaked me out. Do you think I'm just crazy and it's nothing? Because yeah, a lot of these body ones freak me out. Like there's been Mandela effects that our heart has moved locations, that our rib cage is different. And so all these things, I'm saying, aren't doctors noticing? Like doctors do surgeries and MRIs and all these different things. How can doctors not notice these things? So yeah, it's just really freaky because people have proof of some of these things and the doctors don't seem to be noticing, at least not that they're telling us. Maybe they are noticing and talking behind the scenes, but they're not really sharing that information with patients, so it seems.
So if you don't know what the Mandela effect is, first of all, I believe it. I mean, not believe it, I know it's true. There's no way to prove that it's not true, so don't try to if you don't believe it. If you don't understand it or believe it or whatever, just know that like you're one of the people that it doesn't affect or won't get it or whatever. But the theory is, and it's a theory that I believe in, is that there really is a multiverse. So if you're in the comics and you're a nerd, you get sci-fi, what that is. That this is one universe that we exist in, but there's a maybe infinite number of other universes like our universe. Very similar to or different, whatever. Just like you might see in the Flash right now. Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3. And at some point in our life, and maybe not in our life, whatever, at some point those universes collapsed or folded or connected, or that some of us slide between universes, whether it's our consciousness or whatever. I totally believe it, like 100%. I know it's true. Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. the word dilemma. I remember being in like 4th or 5th grade, learning how to spell it, and thought it was really odd that it's spelled with an N. Other people were spelling it with, like my ex would say dilemma because she thought it was funny. Or even that thing with the interview with A Vampire and a lady would capitalize the A all the time. You look it up now, not true. That's because some of us either have better memory of the other universe, or we slip back and forth between them, or we have these remnants. And it's really weird, and you can't prove it, but other people agree with you or whatever. It's really odd. And I've known about it for a while, and I believe it, but the reason I'm talking about it right now is because I realize we always think of it on this macro level because, 30-40% of the population remembers this history that doesn't exist now. But I want to come to a micro level, to my own life, to your life. But before I get there, because I know there's some people who doubt that this is a thing or don't believe it, and you're going to do everything you can to prove it, but you can't. You can't prove otherwise. People always do things like, no, here's a book from 1970s, and you can see, yeah, that's because the universes have merged now, so you can't prove it. It's either you believe it or you don't, and maybe one day some deep science stuff will open up something and they'll figure out, like, this is true. People try to say maybe it's a government conspiracy. No, I don't think it's anything like that. I really do think it's these worlds colliding or bouncing or passing or whatever. But anyway, to bring it back to the micro level I was mentioning, which I think is very interesting, there have been arguments and fights that I've gotten into with people, big, small, whatever, it doesn't matter, in my family, my exes, where they might accuse me of something or accuse them of something, either way, and the other party has no memory of it at all, like whatsoever, like it never happened. And I'll be in those moments and I'm looking at that person, I'm searching their face, and like I can't tell if they're lying, if they don't want to admit to what they did, or if they really think I'm crazy, or am I crazy? And it hit me like this could also be the Mandela effect, that in my life it is very clear, and I can tell you this happened on this date, and this happened, and that happened, and it happened in this order. And even a lot of times in today's world now, I can prove it through emails and pictures and stuff because everything's captured digitally, social media. So it's like, no, I did say this. But you can see that look in their eye like, I'm certain that didn't happen. I understand mistakes happen. I know a lot of people that smoke weed and that really messes you up. And other drugs, alcohol, people getting old memories. I understand all those things. But it's bigger and more specific than that. I won't say it for a bunch of reasons. But one of my girlfriends accused me of something really horrible one time. And I was just out of nowhere at the end of our relationship. And I was like, that never happened. Like, nothing even close to that ever happened. Like, I don't know who you're thinking of or what you're thinking about, but I didn't do that. I didn't say that. And I was just like, who are you thinking of? And I was looking at her eyes, and her eyes were just kind of darting all over the place. And it's that same feeling I have when I think about Forrest Gump and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and Dilemma and Berenstain Bears and all those things, the Mandela effect. Same thing with Mandela. I remember thinking, it's just this vague kind of like, but I thought, or I remember when we had this conversation, or I remember whatever. That look in her eyes, the feeling I get in my head when I think about it, she's just kind of like looking, like she was searching, and her eyes were darting around, and she didn't respond. And I was like, no way would I have done that, because if I had done that, she'd have murdered me. And it's like, so after I did this, what happened next? How are we still together a year later or whatever? But it didn't happen, and it was interesting to watch her think that it did. But I have an even better example, because I've been talking to one of my exes about it, because I knew she'd be into this, or I thought she would, and I was right. She's way into it. We both have memories, almost kinda, of a life together that we never had together. And so we hadn't talked for years, a long time, and we've been talking again recently. And when we got back together, she immediately was telling me all these things about, remember when we watched this show and what you said about that show and this show and yada, yada, yada. And I told her, like, we didn't watch those shows together. We weren't together when that came on. I didn't even like it. I started watching it later. I watched it with another girl. It wasn't you. It wasn't us. We had no contact during those years. I can even tell you all the shows, like Dexter, True Blood, and the other one, Big Love. But she has these very specific, distinct memories of me saying things to her, turning to her, talking about it, telling her to get into it, that she'd like it. And it for sure never happened. I mean, I could easily prove it didn't happen because I was in a different city, a different state with a different person, not watching the show. We can go Google and see what year the show came on. But what makes it really crazy is I have those same kind of memories and feelings. Like we talk about some of these shows, like we remember being in my apartment, laying on the floor, watching this show together and talking about it. But that didn't happen. The show didn't even come out until 3 years after we broke up. And we know this. I know this. But we still have this memory and this feeling. So it's like whatever other universe, we stayed together, and we both have remnants of this idea that this life together that we actually did not have. We broke up, she got married, had kids, and we stopped talking. And even though that happened, and we know when it happened and how it happened, we still both have this kind of other life that didn't happen. And I know you could say, well, it's the kind of thing you would have done together, or it's all these things that could have been combined. Like, she saw it, she was with somebody else, she imagined what I might say, she was so used to talking to me. But what's really interesting is how we have the same memory. Like, I didn't even know that, but I was telling her, like, yeah, it does seem like we were laying on the floor in my apartment. She's like, yes, on the floor with it. But we weren't. I know we weren't. And it just never occurred to me. Like, I wonder how much stuff where people are disagreeing or fighting or don't see things the same way or don't remember things the same. It's not just that one person's an idiot, which is what we tend to think, and it's not that one person's lying, because I still don't know what my family, like, for instance, I talk about abuse and things that have happened to me in my life, and literally it's like I'm crazy to people. Like, of course none of that happened. Like, of course it did, because this happened and that happened and that happened. Like, this was what happened. But maybe they don't have memories of that. Maybe they are from, Earth 1 primarily, and don't have the Earth 2 memories, and I'm from Earth 2, whatever. I don't know. It's just a really interesting thing to think about. It doesn't scare me or whatever, but it'll mess you up.